I've been looking for a piece of New Orleans art pottery with a monster on it for a long time. I was first offered one of these, and these are super rare. The only way we even knew they existed was because there were period photographs in the Paul Evans book publishing 3 pieces of New Orleans art pottery made in 1888, and 2 of them showed dragons very similar to these attached to the surface. So I get this phone call, it's like 1980, 1981, and a man from Mississippi calls me and says, I have a piece of New Orleans art pottery with a tobacco monster stuck to the side of it. So I get on a plane and I fly to Mississippi, and I fly down there in tennis shorts and a polo shirt, and I'm God knows where in the middle of the state. And I get to a payphone at a gas station, and I call the man's house, and this woman, I presume it was his wife, answers the phone and says, he's not here. I said, well, he's got to be there because I flew down from New Jersey to pick up a piece of pottery for the New Orleans art pottery, and he told me he had it for me and to fly down. She goes, well, he's not here, and she hangs up on me. So I call her back. I said, look, there's got to be a mistake. I flew down here from New Jersey to Mississippi to buy a piece of New Orleans art pottery from him. And she says, I told you he's not home. Don't call again. And she hangs up a second time. So I call a third time, and she picks up the phone without answering it. She sets it on the table, and I can hear the television droning in the background. So that's my first experience looking for one of these. And then I get an email about 2 months ago from a woman in Blackpool, England, saying, I saw your piece on Antiques Roadshow where you appraised an example of New Orleans art pottery, and I have one. Lo and behold, there's one with, I guess we'll call it a tobacco monster, in homage to the phone call I got long ago from Mississippi. Made on Baronne Street in the French Quarter. It's signed New Orleans art pottery and marked Baronne Street. Small operation by 2 of the most important potters in American arts and crafts art pottery history. Joseph Myers, the potter for Newcomb College, who taught George Orr how to pot, would be the man who threw this vase, and George Orr making the tobacco monster that wraps around the piece. Now, neither Myers nor Orr signed the piece. In fact, I've never heard of them signing any piece of New Orleans art pottery. While there's only this one known with a dragon attached to it, I've probably seen about 20 pieces over the years, including the Jardinier that I appraised on Antiques Roadshow. So, as far as we know, only these 2 were involved in the making of New Orleans art pottery, but beyond that, the technical virtuosity of this dragon, including the way the tail is crimped, is completely consistent with the work Orr was to do just a year or 2 later at his own pottery in Biloxi, Mississippi. So this is in many ways a landmark piece of American decorative ceramics. It shows the early work of Joseph Myers as a potter in the New Orleans area before he went to Newcomb, before Newcomb even existed. It shows George Orr's work as he was moving from a more traditional Victorian Japanesque standard to what he became known for, which was crazy pots with monsters on them. And also ties into how far-reaching the impact is Antiques Roadshow has on showing people around the world, if they have something good, just how and why those things are as important as they are. It is the physical manifestation of a masterpiece leaving New Orleans, going to Europe, and coming back to America a century and almost a century and a half later. And this will be for sale in our auction in Lambertville in October. We hope you come see this piece and the rest of the sale. Thank you.